Now, South Africa's Treasury has discovered about 12,000 dead people in its register of companies that do business with the state. This, of course, was part of a cleanup effort of systems as the government battles to rein in spending. The Treasury has also identified about 14,000 state employees who are listed as directors of companies that have been awarded state contracts in violation, of course, of regulations. Well, Angelo Coppola joins us now in Johannesburg with more on this. Angelo, welcome to the show. Now, certainly, Angelo, these revelations are good news for South Africa, certainly for the Treasury's cleanup efforts, certainly for the efforts to lower government spending as well. Take us through some of the findings so far.
Well, the bottom line here is that the zombies account for some 40% of the state's budget for goods and services, and that budget is worth $46 billion annually. That's around, so that loss or that fraud that's happening there is around $18 billion. That's wasted in terms of fraud and overcharging. Those 12,000 zombies' identity documents are what's being used by living business owners to either inflate prices or to defraud the state. They've been identified, we understand, as have those 14,000 state employers who are still doing business with the state. And that, of course, is despite those procurement regulations that forbid them from doing so. National Treasury says they know who those people are, but it remains to be seen what happens next.
And Angelo, certainly that's my next question. In light of these findings, is there political will to act decisively? What are your thoughts on what we're going to see the government do next?
Well, these and the rest of the findings haven't been presented to National Treasury in the form of a report just yet. We don't know when and if that report's actually going to see the light of day. A political analyst I spoke to earlier suggests that it's another acid test for the new finance minister to show whether he's in favor of accountability or not. But it's a double-edged sword for him, as there may be some politically powerful people in the background manipulating the system. I was also reminded, of course, that the country is 7 months away from the ANC's elective conference. So there are several scenarios here. The report could be tabled or it could be buried until next year. The official opposition could force the issue, and that's if the finance minister decides to sit on his hands, or the finance minister could show some courage of his convictions and make the report the basis of a judicial commission of inquiry. But it's still early days yet.
And Angela, what impact has this report had on investor confidence, on confidence from those ratings agencies that rated South Africa's debt into junk? What does it mean for locals as well that these findings have come out?
Well, Usha, we're waiting for that full report. I think we'll, we've had a part of the first course of a very large meal. The corruption remains an issue in the country, as does fraud. Businesses here operate in a corrupt environment, and some suggest that business leaders have almost become immune to it. But it's only part of the problem. An audit report was released today which shows that several municipalities were responsible for around $1.3 billion worth of irregular expenditure, and no one was investigated, and that was in 2015. Many of the business leaders have committed to fighting the scourge, but actions do speak louder than words. I must say, though, it's refreshing that the head of the Treasury procurement unit was being very gung-ho in the statement, saying that they'll drag the perpetrators to court by their hair. It's a wonderful sentiment, but unlikely to happen anytime soon. Any speeding up of the process is only going to happen if his political boss, the finance minister, gives him the green light. So it appears that confidence levels are going to remain slightly depressed, which in turn, of course, is going to keep that economic growth depressed as well.
Well, many thanks, Angelo, for those insights. Angelo Coppola, of course, joining us there in Johannesburg. Now,